Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another webinar. We are joined here today with Alex Husner, the Chief Marketing Operator the Chief Marketing Officer for Condo World up in North Myrtle Beach. And she has a fantastic presentation, as I can't believe we're almost in November, but looking into 2021 and how we are going to prepare effectively and efficiently for those visitors coming to the Grand Strand to make sure that we are communicating those messages of cleanliness and making sure that we are keeping everybody safe and happy when they are on vacation. So before Alice gets started, I just want to remind everyone, if you do have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat throughout the presentation, and I can relay those to Alex either during the presentation or at the end. We can get those questions answered. And without further ado, Alex, you have the floor.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. I think this has been a really interesting year for all of us, very challenging, of course. When COVID-19 first hit, I think back to March, which seems like an eternity ago, but when it first hit and, we started hearing about the cruise lines and things happening out the western side of the country, many of us thought that this wasn't going to be something that would really affect us in the Myrtle Beach area, that we were still a drive-to destination and, really wouldn't be that bad. And obviously that quickly, moved to something much more serious. And then we were in a situation that we were constantly scrambling, trying to figure out how we explain or how we communicate with both guests and stakeholders and our employees and, our whole business community here. So challenging is probably an understatement, but I think our hospitality industry here, we've had probably the most challenges of any destination in the last 5 years, from 100-year flood events to hurricanes. We've really been through it all. So I think we were fairly well prepared, but even being fairly well prepared, there's, something on the other side of every different challenge. But I heard a good line from one of our partners. They said in the early days of COVID, our reservation departments looked like Black Friday in reverse. So, we were canceling more reservations than we were making. And, I'm sure all how stressful that was on our reservation teams and, not knowing what to say and just want to do the best thing for our guests and our businesses. So definitely challenging. But, after we went through that wave of cancellations, then we went into a massive surge of bookings. So it's really just been a complete wave for all of us this year. And at this point, I think we're over, hopefully, the hardest part of it, but there's still so much to be done and so much that will change in how we market going into 2021. This really just kind of marks a paradigm shift for how we communicate with our guests. So today, we're going to look at some things that we've done at Condo World that I think have worked well, and also some things that didn't work well, and some tips that we have collected along the way. This is just from our experience. We're, not a marketing agency. These are things that we have put into place as a real business here on the Grand Strand. So we will get started here. Just a little bit about Condo World and who we are. We are in North Myrtle Beach. We were established in 1985. A vacation rental, real estate, golf packages, business, family run, family operated. I've been with the company for 11 years now. So definitely have had plenty of experience marketing the Grand Strand and Condo World, and seeing all the things that have changed here over the last few years and our growth, and then coming into this year, all the challenges that we had. But I'm on the Myrtle Beach Chamber Board of Directors, and I'm a previous board member for North Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce. So see that side of it as well. One other side of our business that makes us a little bit unique, we are what we call a hybrid OTA, which basically means we book reservations beyond just our managed inventory in North Myrtle Beach. We book reservations for other partner resorts and rental companies, both throughout the Grand Strand and in other destinations. So we're currently in Panama City, Destin, Hilton Head, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, and other parts of Florida. So having that experience in these other markets and having that communication with companies in the other markets definitely was helpful this year to hear what was going on outside of just the Grand Strand, and to be able to kind of collaborate on what was working best for everybody. So some of the tips in here are from them as well, and things that we learned together. So this first graphic here, we did this looking at a study that Fuel Travel did And this is the most recent one that they did in September that asked guests what's the most important thing to deciding if whether or not they're going to travel and what they want to hear from guests in the marketing. And 73% said that they want to see what guests, what companies, what resorts, hotels, vacation rental businesses are doing for safety and cleanliness. So we know that that's something that is very important to guests right now. I think we're all setting up for 2021 could be a very big year. I think there could be a lot of demand from not only the guests that came this year, they're still going to come back, but the ones that didn't come and have said finally they're ready to come, or the ones hopefully that once we get a vaccine now they really feel that they're comfortable to come back. So as we're looking at this, you know, the competition to secure that business is going to be fierce. You know, I think we've got a good marketing climate here in the Grand Strand and a lot of sophisticated marketers and advertisers, and now's the time for all of us to really be sharpening our pencil and putting together the outline of what these things are that guests want to hear, because they are a little bit different than what we normally market. You know, I never thought I'd be talking about cleaning supplies and washing linens and in our marketing pieces, but that's just what the role is these days. So gotta roll with what's going on. So first tip would be to build your COVID response outline. And really what this is, and this is something that I keep updating on a constant basis. It's really for my own use, but I take different parts of it and use it as needed. So this is a high level view of everything that's going on at your property in your business. And I think one thing that's come from COVID that has been a good thing is that it's really made different parts of the business have to work together. So operations and marketing have, you know, really had to come together in ways that maybe haven't done so well in the past, because we've had to figure out what is being done and what we need to tell guests and make sure everybody's on the same page. So first step is, you know, let's, you know, meet with your team, figure out all the things that you have done this year. If you're the marketer that's trying to put together this plan, and don't overlook the basic things. You know, some of the things that you have been doing forever that have gotten you the great reputation that you have are now things that you just need to talk about more. So for example, if you wash your linens in an offsite professional laundry facility, you know, that's something that guests want to hear. There are still some companies that wash the linens in the condos. They don't want to hear that. So things that you've already been doing, just make a list, get with your operations team and write down those things. Even, I mean, how you check your units, if you have different protocol for supervisors that check a unit, or time that you're allowing between stays or anything like that. These are the things that you want to get written down and easily accessible to add into your marketing in different places. So within that, things that we know that guests want to hear in the room and in the condo, they want to know that you are wiping down remote controls. They want to know that you're wiping down any of the high touch surfaces using COVID related or COVID specific cleaning supplies. In the common areas, that the elevators are being wiped down, that bathrooms are cleaned, you know, all those different things. We want to make sure that you are communicating those, the handrails, that elevator carts, anything that's being cleaned on the property, just make a outline of what those things are and include that in this document. New check-in procedures. So a lot of us have changed our check-in procedure. Normally in the summertime, there's, you know, a line wrapped around many of our buildings and lobbies with guests checking in, which we obviously have to really avoid that as much as possible right now. So what are some of the things that you have done or that you're thinking about doing? If you have a mobile app, or if you're thinking about getting a mobile app, anything that you can do to streamline that day of arrival, from finding out how many parking passes they need or keys ahead of time. That's one thing that we have done at our office. We've actually done this for many years, but guests before they arrive, starting about 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, they can fill out all that information and their packet is ready to go on check-in day. Obviously that varies by property because our guests are paid in full prior to arrival. So if your guests are paying at the property, then some of those things can't be done. You can't completely eliminate that in-person experience, but you can lay out different things that you're going to be doing to make guests feel more at ease. So only allowing one person in the lobby at a time, and making sure they know that you are practicing social distancing, that you've got the plastic partitions up for the front desk staff, or anything you're doing to protect when they run their credit card, anything like that. Hand sanitizer stations, just write all of it out. You want to be as detailed as possible at this point. So get all that information there. Let's see, different things that you're doing for your employees. Obviously, all of us are trying to keep each other safe too. So, at Condo World, we're getting daily temperature checks, and we wear masks every time that we leave our desk. We don't have to wear a mask at our desk, but if you're in the hallways, you need to wear your mask. If you're sick, stay home. I mean, really just stress those things that you want your guests to know that you are taking it seriously and that your entire company takes it seriously. So get that all down there too. Changes to reservation policies. Reservation policies have changed a million times this year, and I'm sure if you guys are like how we are, that's definitely been a challenge, not only in deciding how to change the policy, but how to communicate it and how to not get guests more confused and how to still protect the interests of your business and everything else at the same time. But any of those policies that have changed, what are they? And now really is the time to be thinking about, are you going to continue those policies for 2021? So we relaxed our deposit policy so that they only had to pay in full up to 2 weeks prior versus 30 days, giving guests a little bit more time. And anything like that you've done, just make sure you get that jotted down. And last but not least, destination updates, mask ordinances, business closures, openings. Hopefully it's all just openings at this point, but what is open, what restaurants can people go to, any events that are being rescheduled, and really, designate somebody in your company as being in charge of finding out that gopher that knows what's going on in the destination, because that's really important to make sure you have all that information at hand. So once you have this step one of all the different things you've done, now you can start figuring out which medium you're going to use to communicate that information. So let's see. So here's just a tip, actually. So communicate with your stakeholders, from HOAs to your homeowners to investors or owners of your hotel property. This is really important. And for us, we have homeowners. So having homeowners, we have, in essence, we manage 600 condos. We've got, in essence, 600 bosses. And as we went into 2020, we had just acquired Condo Lux at the end of 2019, which was an additional 200 units, and then also had another merger about midsummer. So we've gone through 2 different acquisitions in the last year, and during a pandemic has been challenging. Again, challenging is the word, but also an opportunity to really connect with those owners and be as transparent as possible, and send them a monthly update at least. For a while we were doing every other week. So I definitely suggest that if you're a vacation rental business with homeowners, I would suggest setting up some sort of a cadence of updates as we go forward, just to keep them in the know. I think that makes them feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that you're not only taking care of their unit, but also taking care of their guests. On the HOA side, so if you're a vacation rental business like we are, one of the challenges is we have units in many properties. So 600 units within 100 different properties, all with different HOAs. So when the governor announced that pools could reopen on May 18th, we made the bad mistake. This is one of the things we learned, that we thought, okay, the pools will be open on May 18th. And I'll take the blame for that, but that did not mean the pools were open on May 18th. Some of them were, but many of them were not. So that graphic was from an email that we had sent out, and then the next day we found out that not all the pools were open, and we had to backtrack and keep track of we finally just decided, let's make a document where we outline each HOA and building and what the current status is, and just use it as a Google Doc, keep that updated so that we're always in the know and that anybody can access it, because it definitely gets complicated trying to manage all those different stakeholders, and they're being bombarded by other companies asking the same questions. So the more you can streamline that, the better. Number 2, so especially right now, I think it's really important in the off season, while things are a little bit slower. Now is a great time to prepare your reservations team. Like I said earlier, when they you know, it was like Black Friday in reverse. They had no time to prepare for that. We had no time to prepare them for it. But right now we do have time to prepare for 2021 and the right responses that we want them trained on and the right messages that we want them conveying to our guests. So now's the time to take the, you know, sit down with them and make sure that you've got the right things and the right messages there. So you really have to coach on all different channels too. I mean, a phone call inquiry about what the property is doing for safety is going to be different than a chat versus an email. So make sure your team is well versed and do some role play. I mean, that's the best way to train your staff and to make sure that you know it is, you know, have them ask them questions, ask them tough questions and have them answer. And then you can give them coaching on how they can improve on those answers. And again, a Google Doc that they can use where you're updating anything from step one in that outline. Make that accessible for all of them so that whenever there is an update to a pool closure or something going on in the destination or mask ordinance, anything like that, if they have somebody on the phone, they can easily pull that up. I can update it upstairs. You can update it from your office. And if they're on the phone, they have that most up-to-date information right in front of them. Okay, so number 3, create a dedicated COVID-19 page on your website. And the way that we have it, actually, you can see in the upper banner there at the top of the screen, that's on every page of our site. And it is, you know, a link over to, I think, what does it say? Travel update, our commitment to your safety. So at first it was more of an alert kind of message up there, but now we're making it a little bit softer. And really what this page is this is kind of the hub for most of that outline. And this is where you're going to update it on the consumer facing side. And this page really will become, this is like your go-to, not only for guests that have questions, but for your agents to send to guests if they have questions. And, you know, just keep this updated and that it's going to make things a lot easier in terms of the communication. You also want to make sure throughout your site, that's one thing to have that one page, but if you have a detail page about a property, if you have an FAQ section on that page, make sure that you've got some of these new things listed on there because that's really important that the message of anything you're doing for your policies or things to keep guests safe, that's reiterated across the journey. You want people to feel comfortable booking online, on the phone. I mean, you want to make sure they have that information that you've, you know, put some work into, not only to execute operationally, but to market. You want to make sure that they see that and that it actually ends up being a good conversion tool to make them book. So number 4, update your ad copy and listing OTA listings. And there's a variety of different things, and depending on what channels you're on, these are just some of the things that we've done. But VRBO, Airbnb, they actually, that's in the bottom left corner, they have within their feed now that you can put cleaning attributes in, which those are actually, you can search by them or you can sort by them on VRBO and Airbnb. So if guests want to make sure that they can have a minimal contact check-in experience, they can filter by that. So that's really important to make sure those are filled out for your company and for your properties. AdWords copy and call outs. We've got in our Google ads at the bottom that we have, you know, award-winning housekeeping, you know, private, spacious, clean accommodations. I mean, anything, minimal contact check-in, any of these things that are going to really speak to what people are looking for, make sure to call them out right now. Really, I would audit all of your OTA listings, and even just if you want to put a paragraph at the top of them about if you're doing a risk-free booking guarantee or anything like that that you feel might get somebody to feel more confident making that booking, put it in there. You know, have it consistent. You certainly don't want the OTA listing to be better than your own listing too. So make sure wherever you're doing it that you're doing it across the board. And you know, look for different opportunities. I know the Myrtle Beach Chamber has several. They had a risk-free booking guarantee package deal that's on the right-hand side there. And they're sending out emails about stuff like that all the time. So check the CVB portal if you're an advertising package member and submit your deals and any opportunities that are in there. You want as many eyes on your property and on your website as possible. And Google My Business, that's really important right now too. A lot of guests are using that as an outlet to ask questions. So make sure somebody's monitoring that. And of course, that's where they're leaving reviews, which we'll get to at the end here. But very important to keep an eye on all those things. Okay, so this is the next one, a tip: show, don't tell. People believe what they see, so show them, don't tell them. We had a opportunity to do a video with the chamber this summer, where we went out and we filmed some scenes both in the condos and then here in our office, and also at the resort on different cleaning measures. And it turned out really great, and very appreciative of the chamber helping us with this, and mixed it with some B-roll footage that we already had. And I'm going to show just a little bit of it. It's a little bit long, but the link is in there, and that'll be with the presentation if anybody wants to see.
For more than 35 years, CondoWorld has been dedicated to providing guests an exemplary vacation experience. It is our highest priority to make sure you and your family feel safe and comfortable when you stay in CondoWorld accommodations. I'm Alex Huser, Chief Marketing Officer for CondoWorld. Today, I'd like to share a few updates about what we're doing to keep guests safe in these unprecedented times. Just this year, we moved into a beautiful new office building located on 17th Avenue South in North Myrtle Beach. While we would love for our guests to see the inside of our new reception center, we believe the most important thing right now is to keep our guests and staff safe. We've developed a minimal contact check-in process that gets you on the way to enjoying your vacations safely and quickly. Using our online pre-registration process, you'll fill out how many keys and parking passes you need, and we'll have your check-in packet ready to go. All keys and parking passes are sanitized prior to being placed in your packet. And for your convenience, we've included a 4-ounce bottle of hand sanitizer. On your date of arrival, you'll receive a text message notifying you that your unit is ready for check-in. Simply drive or walk up to our check-in station located on the bottom level of our office building, show us your ID, and we'll hand you your packet.
And I'm just going to fast forward. That's just our new check-in process, which actually is pretty cool. It's kind of like a Chick-fil-A underneath our building in the summertime. But I just want to show a little bit what we've done on the resort side too, to show some of those
clips. Or do local pickup from your local Walmart.
Now, you may be wondering how we're keeping guests safe when they're enjoying the on-site amenities. Let's go down to the pool deck and take a look. Starting with our high traffic and public spaces, our staff is going above and beyond normal protocol to make sure all common areas are frequently cleaned throughout the day. Elevators, lobbies, pool amenities, handrails, lounge chairs, public bathrooms, fitness centers, and more will all be cleaned with COVID-19 specific EP.
So let's see. Okay. So this video, it's about 4 minutes long, but we've used that in a lot of our marketing this year, and it's really, I didn't realize that it was going to be such a great tool showing this stuff to guests, but we've been able to track and literally get conversions of people that watch that video and then go on to book. So people that are on the fence, I mean, they want to see what's going on, and it doesn't have to be professional. That's the best part. I mean, you can go out, do an Instagram or a Facebook live video at the property and just show some of these things. Just have somebody else from, the front desk help you, or one of your maintenance or housekeeping supervisors, do a quick interview with them. But really, it's important to show guests what you're doing, and you can use these videos in a lot of different areas of your marketing. So once you have them done, repurpose. So we'll get to that in a few minutes too. Okay, so connect with your guests on social media. Of course, social media is super important right now, probably more than ever. And given what the climate of what's going on, people are online a lot, and there's a lot of negativity on social media. So the one good thing is when they, interact with your page, hopefully you can be a source of not only good information, but of inspiration. Show pictures of the property, show what's going on in the destination, give them something to look forward to. There's just so much negativity on social media right now that really at this point, we're just getting such great response on any of the posts that we do, just because people are they're ready to have a vacation, and they're ready to think about other things besides the election and COVID and school schedules and everything else. So it's a good opportunity to make those connections with your guests. Also, social media this year has been huge for us on answering questions. Make sure that you have somebody that's monitoring your inbox for different social media channels, but it definitely cuts down on phone inquiries. Obviously, a lot of hospitality businesses have had to cut back on our staff. So if you have less people answering the phone, you really want to use these channels to try and facilitate those calls so that your call center can really be taking the sales calls to book new reservations, and let some of these customer service ones go through social media or chat. And social media, it gives you an opportunity to get in front of the problem. A lot of times we've found this summer more than ever that if a guest is unhappy or has something wrong with the condo, a lot of times have sent us a message on Facebook, which is great, because then that way we can help them while they're here, which that's always the best case scenario, and hopefully get it resolved so that it doesn't end up in a bad review at the end of the day. Let's see. And posting helpful information. Right now, I mean, guests want to know when they come down, can they use grocery delivery services? That's been a big thing. That graphics from an email that we did. Grocery delivery services, easy meals to make in the condo, anything like that. Whatever you post, it doesn't have to be salesy. I mean, it can really just be things to help them. Maybe they don't make those meals at the beach, they make them at home. But it's just a good way to interact with your guests and show your brand voice and be relaxed and have a nice tone and just connect with people. So use social proof. Of course, we know guests want to see what is really going on at the property and down here. And through the chamber, we've got many of you, if you use Flip2, which is part of the advertising package, where guests can share a photo after they leave your property to be entered into a contest to win a future stay. If you're not already involved in using Flip2 through the chamber, definitely reach out to them, because it is an incredible tool and has given us absolutely beautiful photography that we can use of our guests. That collage is also from an email that we sent. That's all pictures from this summer that guests submitted. And I mean, really, you can't beat that user-generated content. No stock photo can say it better than your own guests. So that's super important to be able to show that. And you'll use stuff like that in your own marketing that's non-COVID related. So the more social proof and social user-generated content you can get, the better. Okay, so number 6, tap into your guest history. Email marketing has always been a very important part of our marketing strategy. It's our number one driver of business, both new and repeat. And we've got a pretty solid strategy that we're pretty aggressive with it, and we track things very consistently and really keep our name out there. So I definitely would recommend everybody do the same. I read a statistic the other day, 50% of travelers that are going to travel in 2021 are going to go to a property or a destination that they're already familiar with. So that's really important. So looking at your guest history, you really want to be in touch with those people. And there's several different things you want to do. So you want to segment your list, and you want to really look at, okay, we know Canadians, we don't know when they're going to be able to come back into the country. So for us, that's a lot of our winter rental business and golf business. So what can we do to offset that? For a lot of properties, obviously group business is not going to return for a while. So those are some pretty big segments to have to make up for. But what types of travelers are coming? We know couples are coming. We know millennials are coming, empty nesters, girlfriend getaways, bachelorettes, bachelor parties. Those things are still definitely happening. So, plan out a content schedule and think about when those people normally come and segment it out, and utilize that between both your emails and your social targeting to really hone in on more specific segments to compensate for the ones that we won't be able to get as much of, if any, in 2021. Tip, show off your team. The most important part of any of our businesses is our people. So I think it's really important for guests to be able to see that, accommodations are a lot more than just a bed and 4 walls. We are a business of people that love our guests, and we love the Myrtle Beach area, and we love hospitality, and we want to make the experiences as great as possible for them. So between your social media or your emails, any of it, take pictures of your staff, include your staff in your videos, and let their faces bring the brand of your company to life. So number 7, prepare a review management process. If you don't already have one in place, definitely you'll want to have one. If you do, it's probably is going to change because there's a lot of different things that you need to be thinking about now. You know, this is always tough because everybody is strapped for time, but it's really important to have somebody that is designated within your company to respond to these reviews, both positive and negative. I know through what we do, we send a departure survey when guests leave. And if it ranks below, if it's a certain measure, that gets forwarded to our director of operations, and then he'll contact the guests directly. For our Google My Business reviews, if it ranks below a 3, I think, or a 3 or below, that goes to somebody in our digital marketing department. So we've got different people that take care of different reviews because there are so many places that you have to be watching. But you know, set up alerts. We've got alerts for both of those, obviously, and other ones as well. And you know, make sure that you have the tools to be able to respond quickly as you need to. If you want to do different templates just for happy guests, that can work too. You know, a couple different ones that you can kind of move copy around just to save some time. That's always good. But I mean, really right now, whatever you respond to guests, whether it's a good review or a bad review, even though it's more like an investment in the future, because you're either going to make somebody that wants to come next year feel more comfortable because they read a bad review and you explain what happened and, you know, showed your empathy and they feel okay about it. Or, you know, it's just a chance for you to reinforce cleaning procedures you've done or anything else that you did during that guest stay to make them happy. And that's going to make somebody else feel comfortable booking when they get to that point. So it's an investment in the future to make sure that you stay up with reviews all the time, all year round. And that also goes, I just want to point out for VRBO too. That's really important on VRBO. One thing we've done this year, you can ask a guest to review you as well as a host. And when you do that, that normally ends up getting a review of your property, which in VRBO, reviews are obviously very important. So that's something that's worked good for us. And that is it. That's what I've got as kind of the main things that we've done this year, tips that we've had. So at this point, I'd open up to any questions that anybody has or comments.
I'm not seeing any questions at this time. Just giving it a couple more seconds, but Alex, you are able to share that presentation with us, correct?
Sure. Yep.
Awesome. And that will have that video link in it. I know sometimes when we watch on Zoom through other people's computers, sometimes the video gets a little bit lagged, so you'll be able to watch that video in completion just so you know kind of what Condo World has put in place for that video option just to get their message across to their guests. So if you do have any questions for Alex, feel free to reach out to us. We can get you all connected in the case that you do want to talk to her directly. We did record this webinar. I know there were some people that hopped on late, so check back on the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber's website underneath our webinar section, and you'll be able to see the full recording of this. And if you do not have anything else, Alex, to add, and there are not any additional questions, that will be it for today's webinar.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex, so much for doing this for us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck to everybody in 2021.